So, employment or
Hustle.
building a business? That's quite a tough one.
Let's talk
So,
about it.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm with two gentlemen here. Yeah, my name is Parity and I'm with Mundia and Chomba. So these two guys are software developers. And yeah, I think you'll get to know them as we go. Yeah, in the previous episode, I'm sure you got to hear about Chomba's story. So today you also hear about Mundia's story, and we'll also get to talk about a lot of interesting stuff. Yeah, so I think Mundia, at least people know Chomba a bit for now. So
It was the first
Mundia,
episode.
we want to know you like in a bit. Yeah, tell us about yourself a bit.
Ish, I feel like I would be stroking my own ego here, but who am I? First off, I'm unemployed. As a weird description.
Yeah, always joking about being unemployed.
A weird description to give. But
Yeah.
I'm a co-founder of a couple of startups. Firstly, I founded Lendbox Software Solutions, which is basically software for lenders to manage their loan businesses. Then I also founded a company called Minichat, which is a software which helps developers create messaging platforms on their applications. Other than that, outside of tech, I do run a pub with Chomba. He's a great co-founder, by the way, best co-founder I ever had.
Amazing.
Yeah. Then I do have a couple of small things going on. So yeah, enough about me. I feel like I'm stroking too much of my ego here.
No, please feel free. Feel free. Yeah. So you said you founded Lendbox. Yeah. I remember Lendbox was funded. Yeah, Lendbox was funded. Yeah, that was really good. I remember.
A lot of startups.
How much did you guys raise?
Yeah, we did raise some funds. About $60,000 US.
$60,000. Let me go on my calculator right now.
I don't think you should do that. Please don't do that. That was like 2 years ago.
Still 2 years ago.
We
$60,000 US. I'll calculate.
Yeah, we did mess up that money. I'm not going to lie. We messed it up.
Zambia.
It was
I'm sure there'll be a lot of lessons there.
That was a good time. I wish we could not talk more about it, but hey, that was a good time.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so you also mentioned that you founded Minichat as well. Yeah, so with Minichat, is it just you or do you have co-founders?
For Minichat, we're the two of us. So there's me and some other guy who's in charge of marketing and advertisements.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How is it going so far?
Yeah, it pays my rent, it pays my upkeep, it pays so many stuff. So
wait.
I can't complain.
Minichat is a software as a service, something.
Yeah, it like I said, it enables developers to build messaging platforms, messaging features on their applications on the website.
Ish. This is really getting interesting. So you guys, for the past, I don't know if it's 6 weeks or so, I've been meeting a good number of people in Zambia that have been building SaaS platforms, and like they are making something out of that, and then you're telling me that it pays your rentals, caters for ish, man, that's inspiring. But still, that's a lot. It's really inspiring. Okay. Chomba, welcome back, bro.
It's actually always a privilege to be here, because I think one good thing that I benefit the most is getting the knowledge that the speakers that we have on the show gets to share, right? So it's always good to be here. Yeah, and thanks
Wow.
for raising this priority.
Amazing. Yeah, and Chomba, in the previous episode when we started, you shared about how when you started learning how to code, you started building that platform where that was about music
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, you shared a bit about that. So after you got employed, embarked on the journey, like full-time job, you became a senior software developer,
Oh, that
running a
is so fast.
pub, a studio. In the startup world, what else have you embarked on?
um, ish, like it's been a bit tricky because I think I
Yeah.
was going through the direction of building SaaS products first. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
building a SaaS
Yeah,
product.
because
Amazing.
I've always envisioned SaaS product to be the product that can work for you when you're not available, right?
No.
It's like you just build one
Yeah.
product that you can really do good with the marketing, and then it can help you generate a bit of some income, and then
Yeah.
it can scale to multiple people. So when I got the job, I had ideas of how I can raise a bit of some money and do more of that. But
Building SaaS
unfortunately,
products.
yes. But unfortunately, I think the workload was underrated. I think I'll put it that way. Because the moment I got the job, I don't recall spending so much time back at the SaaS product.
Oh, ish. Man, we share that. Fist bump. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we share that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the time that you had started attempting this creating your own startup thing, what are the lessons you think you learned from the whole attempt of trying to create a startup of your own?
Yeah, especially if I may add on to
Okay.
to Mundia's question, considering that you have a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah, add that because I also share my part. Yeah, please go on.
I think those are very good questions, and I like that Mundia asked me because part of my question, part of my response really ties up to him, right? So when you get the job,
Yeah.
You start getting paid,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But before that, you sort of like plan for the money before you get it.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, okay, I want to do this startup, and I've been having challenges with the hosting, with the marketing, because you have to pay people. That's the background that I was coming from. So when I got the job, the first month, I was like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make sure that I raise enough money that I can get back to building the SaaS product that I was building. So unfortunately, I got so busy and so carried away with work, and I forgot about that. And over the few times in years and months, I was thinking I wasn't focusing on that because I didn't have time.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't that case.
What was the case?
I didn't have commitment.
Oh, this is
Right.
getting interesting.
So I
Yeah.
got to pick that up from Mundia. So the time I started interacting with Mundia, I see him building Lendbox. I was actually at some point part of the team that was building it. Yeah, I saw the dedication and the commitment
That was
towards
good.
that, right? So it came to me that it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's about the sacrifice and the commitment that you can give to it. Yeah. So a few years down the line, after I worked 2 years in the corporate space, I now started planning ways to strategize and get myself on a point that will allow me to create capacity to do more.
Oh,
Regardless of
amazing.
having the job, regardless of having the money. But the thing is, what do I want to do, or what has the vision been like before I got this job, right?
Yeah, so there's that vision. You really wanted to build that
Yes.
startup.
So
Yeah.
and
the job.
by the way, the startup was called Veka.com. I was running a studio then.
Yeah.
So it's been around how can I help upcoming artists get the audience they deserve, right? So with the play of Boomplay coming into the space, Spotify trying to expand to more countries,
Yeah.
there are two ways there. I could be stubborn and compete with them, but
You can compete. You
again,
can.
it still goes back to capacity.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I still love the idea of creating products that help the country and
Yeah.
the demographics that we're in,
Mhm.
but I have to make sure that I don't waste time trying to compete with the giants in the space. I mean, I can do that, but
Afraid
I have
of
to
the
make
giants?
sure I weigh
Quick
Spotify,
one.
Boomplay.
Who are the giants in the space?
I would say Boomplay, Spotify, Apple Music, right?
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
right now they already have a product that has proven market fit.
Yeah.
They are
Mhm.
now
Product market
expanding
fit,
to
yeah.
countries, so
Mhm.
they have more data than I am. I mean,
Yeah.
I can get that data, but I'm looking at the time frame that will allow me to accumulate that data and make sure that I build on that data to attract more audience. So
Oh.
two things there. I could be stubborn and force myself down that path,
Mhm.
or I can just accept and look at what other solutions can I
So,
bring to
but
the table that
what
can
do you
help
think
people.
right now? Do you think there's something that you can do differently?
A lot of them,
Yeah,
actually,
to
a lot
compete.
of them, a
So
lot of
that
them.
means there's room for you to compete with the giants.
Also, what's stopping you from doing those things?
Yeah.
Okay. So assuming we're still talking about Mveka.com,
Yeah, yeah.
which is a music streaming platform.
Yes.
So like I said, I feel I would rather target my energy to something else that I don't see people doing.
Okay. So
I could like I said, I
have
could
you heard of the Bro Ocean strategy? Bro Ocean.
No.
Yeah. So that is creating something new without competition, like how to get rid of your competition. You bring something totally new.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Yeah, Bro
Never
Ocean
heard of that
strategy.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, Bro Ocean strategy, like when you are trying to create something in a new market, or you come up with a product that is in a way totally new without competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it's about basically. Yeah, so I think that a bit ties to what he's talking about, and over time, I think you should read more about that. Yeah, it might be helpful.
Yeah, I appreciate you for sharing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think you should link the website down in the maybe
Yeah,
the comment section and stuff
I
like
will,
that. So
and the book as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that will help a lot of people.
Yeah.
So just
Then-
to summarize more on the questions that you posed, right? Like why am I not fighting hard, and why am I thinking there are giants that I can't conquer, right?
Yeah.
I like I said, it could be I could be stubborn,
Mm-hmm.
and try to force myself to pursue that, and
Yeah.
there is a 50-50 chance I can win, I cannot win.
Mhm.
But I would rather think about it that there's always a solution that I can do. There's always an area that somebody's not touching.
Yeah,
And-
Bro
and-
Ocean
yeah,
again.
yes.
Bro Ocean
And,
strategy.
and that's my focus right now.
Yeah.
Read up on Blue Ocean.
Yeah, you really need to. You really need to.
Yeah,
Bro Ocean
yeah, I will.
strategy.
I will.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I think
for
one
me,
of
I
these
think-
days we'll have a deeper conversation regarding that.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should. So for me,
Should
this
have
second
an
part of the year,
episode dedicated fully to Blue Ocean.
and it should
Yeah.
be when I read the book.
Mhm. Yeah.
After we're done with understanding Blue Ocean.
Yeah. I think we'll have an episode dedicated to that.
So the second
Yeah.
part of this year is just dedicated for me to look at what I can do
Mhm.
within the community that I'm in.
Okay.
What problems are people facing, and how
Mhm.
together collectively we can help innovate and make things simpler.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. So now back to Mundia. Mundia, you mentioned having founded Minichat, and Lendbox as well. So, and yeah, so one thing that we haven't talked about is like your background. Yeah, so how did you get into tech? Let's take it back a bit. How did you get into tech?
Did I mention how unemployed I am?
Yeah, so you said you're unemployed.
Okay.
You said that you're unemployed, but one thing, is it unemployed by choice or unemployed
It is
because you can't
literally-
find a job?
it's
So
literally-
I really need you to
Yeah.
stress that point.
So it's
Yeah.
literally 100% unemployed by choice. this I know this podcast is dedicated towards tech people. Just to clarify, the unemployment is by choice.
Yeah.
It's not by force.
Mhm.
I
By
personally
circumstances.
prefer being unemployed. So many benefits come
Mhm.
with it. Being able to have control over my time and whatnot. And even though I mentioned unemployed, it has so many strings attached in that. I might be unemployed, but I have a lot of startups
Yeah.
that I'm currently running.
And a lot more coming, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot more coming. I have so many startups lined up for launch right now. So yeah, in case there's anyone listening who wants to follow my footsteps, please don't.
It's very wide.
How we
It's very
survive?
risky.
No.
Please don't. I'm not someone for following.
Yeah.
My stuff is very calculated and well executed.
Yeah.
But not to stroke my own ego too much. But so you asked about background, yeah?
Yes. Background. How did you get
So-
into tech?
So I'm going to say I did go to UNZA.
Oh,
For
the
a
highest
degree.
learning of institution.
Yeah, blah blah blah.
In the
high
country,
learning institution,
yeah.
blah blah blah. If you ask me, that's not important. It doesn't mean anything.
It does.
Wait.
If you ask me,
Yeah.
I don't know how many listeners are into tech and whatnot, but the only thing I learned from there is algorithms.
Data structures.
I already know that the data structures. Chomba knows the items, which you can teach yourself. To be honest, in a weekend you can
If
teach
you're being
yourself.
honest.
If you're being honest, in
you
a weekend
guys.
you can teach yourself.
You guys.
I'm doing for real.
Other than that, to be honest, the entire 4 years,
It's
Hmm.
your commitment.
I don't want to say the word. I don't say it was wasted, but like I could have spent that time doing something good.
Eish.
So
If I
the
could
first
say that.
version of Lendbox.
If I could say that,
For real.
yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. This is not to.
But
Yeah.
why would you say it was wasted? You would say it was wasted.
100% of everything I know right now,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception of that data structures I mentioned about, 100% of everything I know right now was not learned from uni. I learned it before uni. I learned it. There's that when you're done with grade 12.
Yeah.
There's that 1 year you have to wait to go to school. That's if
Yeah.
you're not going to bougie schools like.
Yeah.
I
So
won't
that's
mention the
about
name
almost
because
2
I don't
years.
want, I don't want free plugs here. I won't mention the name.
Yeah, so that's almost 2 years you have to
some
wait if you're going
schools
to
like
public
which
institutions.
are found in Kalingalinga and Marshlands. I won't mention the names.
Yeah.
But if you're not applying, if you're applying to the highest shan or
Yeah,
UNZA and
learning,
CBUs,
whatever,
then
yeah.
you have to wait for 1 year.
Yeah.
That period
Mhm.
is when I hate to admit it, but like I was into games. Then I wanted to make my own game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I learned Python through Blender to make a game in Blender.
Oh,
I don't know how many people are familiar with Blender.
Blender 3D modeling. Eish.
Yeah, the 3D modeling thing. But after that, I realized I'm not good at drawing and graphic design and whatnot.
Visuals.
I found myself developing Android mobile applications with Kotlin. I found myself developing with Kotlin. Then after that, I have no idea what happened, but I found myself in web development, then DevOps, then where I am right now. We launched Lendbox and Minichat and so many other startups. I got into the startup world.
Yeah, and you even raise money.
Yeah, we
I,
did
I,
raise some
I
money.
love money, man. I love money.
Who
So
doesn't?
don't-
Who doesn't?
Don't worry if I stress
Who
much
doesn't?
about raising money because, man, in Africa it's so difficult to raise funding. Of
Yeah.
course, we've seen developed startup ecosystems like Nigeria and Kenya have been raising so much and making rounds, but over here in Zambia, this hasn't been so easy. Yeah, so like, oh, kudos to that. Like, you guys must have executed so well for you to raise that much because 60,000 US dollars. Eh?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a lot if converted to kwacha.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
But we messed it up.
Should we create an I blew it episode?
This requires its own episode.
Because
we
man,
messed it up.
when it comes to saying I blew it, like a lot of people don't know my story when it comes to like, blowing up. Anyway, let me not say much.
We definitely
Yeah.
need to. I think for me, I do have like it's not really a question because me and Mundia we vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
guys,
share
you are like
ideas,
partners.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I would definitely just want to get a sense of when you are thinking of products that you're building for the country or for the world, right? How do you get to decide that this product that I'm thinking is market worthy, right? It's just going to be like a proof of concept, or I can dedicate my entire time for this 3, 4, 5 months until I
Interesting
get up to
question.
it, right? Because you've seen people that come up with ideas and say, boy, do you know Facebook Messenger? It's like, yes. It's like, I want to build stuff like that, right? And then you'll be like, no, I don't want to build that. But then you can wake up and just say, I want to build Minichat, or I want to build Lendbox, or I want to build. There's another baby called Tech Kaizen.
Should we talk about it?
No.
I know. You guys, you can talk.
Yes, you know what I mean. So like, what
Yeah, I
drives?
feel you.
What drives you to say, I think I'm going to commit my resources to this for this period of time, or
Yeah.
this is not an idea that I can commit to?
I think there's a lot of before you get to commit to an idea, you need to validate your idea. You need to. So firstly, before we even get to the
Yes, to
validity
the
of idea,
validation,
we need to
yeah.
talk about you have an idea. You want to build something, and you have an idea of an app.
Yeah.
Is it something that people need? Is it solving a problem?
Problem solution
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah,
my
exactly.
specialty.
Exactly. It's really straightforward. There's nothing
Yeah.
complicated about it. Just is this solving a problem? And after that, is this a problem that people are willing to pay for?
Okay.
Oh,
If
product market fit.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, that's what I was waiting for,
Yeah.
right? Because if you say, is this the problem worth solving for? That's subjective. It could be worth solving for me only.
Yeah.
Right? But it's another story if it's going to be for the market and for the masses, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
I think
that's
we
the
we consider the market. Yeah,
So
like
market's
That's
key.
Yeah.
that's why you need to differentiate of where, like, you yourself, you feel like you need this thing. Yeah, I need it. It's something I would use. But like, is someone else willing to part away with their own hard-earned money to
And
give you
some of
so
it.
they can use your services?
and that's one reason I love the lean startup concept. Yeah. Ish, I'm so obsessed. Like from the time I first encountered lean startup methodologies, I've been so in love with Japanese management principles. So with the lean startup what do you call this? Lean startup principles, like it's based on validated learning. Yeah. So like from the word go, you don't have to start investing too much time in planning and all that stuff. You're supposed to invest much time in validated learning. So an example that I will give you is Netflix. Netflix's former CEO. You know what they did when they came up with the idea on how they can do this? Dudes were in their car and they decided mid-trip, when they were discussing the idea, they were like, okay, let's see if this can work. They got the CD. They got the CD, bought a stamp, a mailing stamp, envelope, blah blah, and that stamp, and they were two in the car, and they sent to one of the guys there. They sent that CD in the mail to that guy, and that CD when they like within like 24 hours that guy got the CD. Then they're like, man, we validated the
Concept.
idea. Yeah, we validated the concept. So if we are able to mail these CDs through the post, which means we can make people to borrow CDs through the mail. They watch the movies, they send them back, and
We'll give them
yeah,
somebody
like that.
else and
Yeah,
send
overall,
them
we'll
to
make money off this. You see how that went? Yeah, so I feel like validated learning is really great, and I love that. And like these guys that do a lot of work, paperwork, doing a whole lot of stuff while they are not doing validated learning. And yeah, okay, to be honest, to be honest, for me, I feel like if you're not doing something that can benefit the customers while you're building a startup, then you're wasting your time. From the word go, when you start building a startup, you have to involve your customers from the word go and get feedback.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. One thing that I've learned is I hate that I'm learning it right now. I also feel like I might be prematurely encouraging such behavior. But I've noticed locally here in Zambia, which I'm assuming is the same situation in other countries in Africa, in that if you're building a Zambian startup, if you're able to solve the problem of record keeping, there's so many companies and startups and for example insurance companies that have so many records. If you can figure out how to help them arrange that information in a easy to use way, you can literally make so much from recurring revenue from them.
Oh, interesting business idea. Ish. I think next week not even next week. This weekend I'll register a company with Pakra to do that.
No, you should.
Light bulb moment.
Yeah.
You should, because at Lendbox we have so many users who who literally subscribe because they have so many records to keep track of.
Oh.
And then we literally help them keep track of that. And I'm thinking about how in so many different industries, insurance industry, banking industry,
Yeah.
you can literally help with the keeping track of records and stuff, and you literally make bank. If you want to start a startup, do something that keeps track of certain types of information.
Okay, so which means like that actually exposes a gap. So in that case, it means most of the enterprises and institutions that we have in our country have not yet digitized their data. Ish, that
Yeah,
leaves us
pretty much.
exposed. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Quite sad to hear, but because for me, I can only imagine what we can do if we have that digitized.
Yeah. On that one, I would challenge Barrett and Mundia to make sure we create time to have an episode around why personally I think that's a challenge. It continues to become a challenge right now.
Yeah.
Right. So I've had several conversations with people in the government space. Right. So when I approach them and I tell them to say, we can digitize ABC, XYZ, you know what I mean? They ask a lot more around, are we guaranteeing security?
Oh.
So when they do have those physical documents in a certain space, because they are police officers, they are guarding with guns, and then you know what I mean. So the moment you talk about moving into the cloud, they need that guarantee of safetyness. And I'm just saying this now not to contradict the point that has been brought forth, but it's around how us as software engineers we can position ourselves to take on that space. Like if I approach somebody and say, you know what, I know what you're going through, I know that you've got that building that keeps this, and I know that there are guys there doing ABC, and they're only doing that because the data in there is 1, 2, 3, right?
Yes.
But I can give you this, and then I can give you that, and this and that, and the access rates are this and that, and I think we can have more of those documents trying to get digitized. And I just mentioned it so that we can keep a record on how we can structure our.
Oh, yeah, that's good. So that's cyber security.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
Yeah.
Quick one.
Yeah, yes.
What's your opinion on the Zambian regulation space?
Nobody likes that.
You
Especially if
guys,
it's been in the startup ecosystem, it's crazy.
you guys will get me fired if I speak my mind.
No. Speak your mind. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I speak my mind.
Should
I
you
go
get
back to being
fired?
unemployed.
It doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
As long as the world knows what you think.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like we are doing a lot of copy paste work. Yeah, we are literally doing that. Let me not even sugarcoat this. The Data Protection Act, ICTAs, yeah, man, we are doing copy paste stuff.
Like I just have
Yeah,
a proof
to
of
be
concept
honest.
that I want to see if it
Yeah.
can work or not. But why are you making it hard for me to do it? Like,
Yeah.
My
Like,
question is not really a question but a statement. Is there really a body that's enforcing? You mentioned parity. You mentioned
This
the
is
data protection
something
act.
like
Is there a body
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
enforcing it? Because I want to give an example of ICTAS.
Yes. Yeah.
Legally, the Constitution of Zambia mentions people who participate in ITC services should be registered with ICTAS. Personally, I'm not. Please, ICTAS, don't follow me. I'm not registered.
Yeah.
If you follow me, I'm not
Okay.
an ICT person. I'm not employed. I'm just chilling.
you run a liquor
No,
I
but
run a
you know
liquor
what?
store. But outside of that, I don't think people register for
Yeah.
ICTAS. If they are very
Yeah,
few.
they do.
Actually,
Legally-
I am registered.
Yeah,
You are?
Chomba is registered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For real?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I am actually on the verge of registering. Yeah. So
Reg,
Mundia,
what's stopping you from registering?
like time,
Oh,
their
okay.
process again,
Okay.
their process. Yeah.
The reason
It's
why
quite
that I'm registered is
disappointing.
because of my 9 to 5. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, so it's a mandate.
Yeah,
I have
and
to
also
organize that.
yeah,
But you have to pay
same for
money.
me.
If it was not for my 9 to 5, yeah, me I'll be in the same shoot as well.
Yeah,
I
so-
don't see the point also.
Yeah.
If there is a point to see, then they haven't communicated it enough for me to understand.
I feel
Okay.
like ICTAS should be optional. To be honest, it should be
I feel
optional.
like
The
they're just
same
trying to
way.
do what they're doing with the nursing, with the
Yeah.
But the
And when
problem
you
is
read-
it's in the constitution.
Yeah,
You have to
it's
be
in,
registered.
yeah, you have to. So
To
that's why
practice
I've been
ICT.
telling people like the amount
Yes.
of money like that is required for one to register, like that's not even pocket
just to
change
be-
or something. It's
Yeah.
it's quite tiny that it's easier for us. So to just avoid this, let's register. Let's get into ICTAS. Let's start changing these things here. Yeah, that's my thought, because if you look at ICTAS and the way it's structured, what it does, at the moment, even their registration process, like a whole lot of issues. I don't think.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was supposed to say this like on this podcast and stuff like that, but I noticed your point to that. Like,
Yeah.
actors came to our offices trying to get us all sorted out, and it was so crazy that they tried to make that thing happen remote, but their system was down. Like,
But-
literally, when you try to submit your details, it couldn't allow you to do that.
Man, you
when they
know
came
what?
to our office, the only thing they were doing is that literally going to the SQL database, try to do those things manually to say, oh, this has to be a unique
Ish.
field. This has to be a.
Damn! How?
It's like sick as we're talking about here. It's
Man,
not like
man,
we're
man.
talking about that.
Ish.
So I do know, like, part of
Yeah.
that, they're just trying to get up to speed with whatsoever is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the enforcement part is not.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I think,
for
but
leg- for-
like they
for
they
legal-
really need to up their game when it comes to online registration. I think I think I'm going to reach out to their president so that maybe we can discuss. This thing is something that I know devs that can do this for free. Like some of us, sometimes when we get overexcited, we tend to
Yeah.
promise to do some stuff for free, maybe during a weekend or stuff.
You can
Yeah,
even be me
yeah,
and
a
me for
hackathon,
free.
a hackathon or something. Yeah, like just to ensure like that is up and running, whereby a
Wow.
user can register online, they can submit all the documents, make the payment all online without having somebody come to our office, or without us starting to contact somebody to help us register. Like, no, tech can do that. If it's a
Yeah,
body
it's
that
tech,
is
man.
talking about tech, then let's use tech.
So for legal purposes, we do not endorse you not registering for hectares. Please
Yes,
register for hectares.
please
Again.
register. Yeah, yeah.
Us ourselves, you might not be registered, but please do register
Yeah,
yourselves.
we'll share the link in the comments. Yeah,
We encourage you to
yeah,
register.
and we'll share the link for the hectares
You can
forms
find-
and the payments
You
so
can-
that you can get registered as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's law. It's law.
Yeah.
Please abide by the law of the land.
Of
Register for hectares if you are in Zambia.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If you can register for Upwork, you can also register for
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. So away from the regulations, Mundia. Yeah. Eesh, the guy that has chosen to stay unemployed by choice. How's it going so far?
So yeah, I would like to say, please do not. It depends on your type of personality. People have different personalities. Like I can't describe each and every different type of personality. But if you are the type who is, I want to say, stubborn, does not take orders from people, really hates being told what to do, the best thing you can do, honestly, come up with a startup. Think of something you can come up with. Most startup founders I know, they are hella stubborn. They know what they want. They know if their user base, do the research, find out who's going to use your app and whatnot, and etc, etc, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and where you have talked about that, you know one thing that interests me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel Zambians are building apps as merely apps. They are not trying to gather data on the touch points of the user's journey. For example, if you are on Lendbox, as an example, if you have a client that is offering loans, and for example, somebody logs in to maybe, let's say, this lending company, and they check they want to get a loan for this much, they put the amount they want to get, they see the interest rate, they do this, they go back, they put another amount. Like, sometimes one thing I found is Zambians are not aware of how important that data is. So they won't bother to check, like, why did this person switch from, let's say, putting 30,000 kwacha to 15,000 kwacha. Like, they don't correct or they don't collect all the data. Yeah, so like, even maybe food delivery platforms, they are not considering, okay, this time this person orders this food, like such data. Like, whatever somebody is doing in a system, you're supposed to be collecting all that. That's what gives you insights. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed. Yeah, Zambians are not really doing that. But what do you think we can do more to harness the data that we have?
I've actually seen your perspective on that. I think with I hate to mention the company now because I don't even sure that can need to mention it. Yeah.
No,
Please
Okay.
don't mention.
don't mention
Don't.
the company.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank God I've got good people. Otherwise, I would have mentioned it. But
Yeah.
anyway, even if I say the scenario, you guys are gonna connect the dots. But check. So before, what we use for rides was here. There was the other thing that we used to use for rides.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The other
Yes,
thing.
the other thing. So
Yeah.
that other thing was just working perfectly,
Mhm.
right? We could do even the whole ride hailing thing was known by that
Yeah.
name, right?
Mm.
But there's this other stubborn ish. I wish I could catch, but I can't.
No,
Can you?
don't.
No,
No,
we can't.
no,
don't.
This guy has been casing me. I know, but
No, for now, you guys
Okay,
will get
sorry
me
for
fired.
dragging- yeah. So sorry for dragging it too long. But yeah, my point there being is this other company comes in and it takes over the other company that has been there. But I
Yeah.
felt like this other company that has been there didn't know how to utilize what it had.
Yeah, because
It
they
had data.
they had years of data.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
They
yes.
imagine.
They
Like
literally
5 years
knew.
of
They
data.
literally knew who does what at
Yeah,
what point.
yeah.
How can they get to Mundia to send an offer to say,
Yeah.
oh, on Wednesdays Mundia usually goes to this place.
Mhm.
Give
Yeah.
him a discount because
They
Mundia
didn't
then is
utilize
there. They
on that.
didn't,
Mhm.
but the data was there. So it's a
Yeah.
question around were they paying attention to those data
Mhm.
that they were, mining with the users, or maybe they weren't even mining any data at all.
Mhm.
Right?
That's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that speaks to your point to say there's a lot of data that we can utilize on, but we don't focus on that.
Yeah.
But it costs the company because that company that I'm talking about right now is no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
But
thing.
that company was there for a long
Unfortunately.
time, right?
Yeah,
They
but
knew, even if
we
it's
need
me
to
who wants
salute.
to do that whatsoever,
Yeah.
they know, okay, this guy goes from point A to point B, usually mostly within this time and that time, but I never got a custom message to say you've got a 20%
Yeah.
discount, you've
Yeah.
got a 10%
Mhm.
discount to do this. Imagine if they did that to all the users they had. Do you think we would have had a chance to try the other person, even if the other person
No.
was offering more cheaper rides? Because it feels like they are now talking to me directly.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to look more on the data side of things. What data are we capturing, and what are we doing with the data that we are capturing? So I
Yeah,
just wanted to speak more
I
to
feel
that.
like that company
In the- yeah.
neglected proper product management, where things like where things like putting the user at the center of the whole thing is concerned, they sort of neglected that. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all in all, with proper product management, they would have been innovative throughout, and they would have identified all the problems and all the changes that would have happened. Yeah, they wouldn't have been where they are right now. Like the company that came forward, the competitor that came and pushed them out of business. One thing I can guarantee you is it wasn't just about the money. There were other competitors. Some went as far as putting up billboards everywhere and even advertising on Zambezi Magic. Yeah, and ZNBC advertising everywhere. But where were they? They failed to push that one out of business. All the other companies that came into the market offering a similar service couldn't make it. Why couldn't they make it? But how come this other one made it? Yeah, so there's strategy there. Yeah, product strategy, which like a lot of these founders don't understand. But anyway, yeah, we won't talk much about that. Yeah, but
I was about to ask where are they right now?
Yeah.
This
Liquidation.
unnamed company
Liquidation.
of ours.
liquidation.
In this
Yeah,
Oh, they're
liquidation.
liquidating?
Yeah,
They did,
yeah,
they
yeah.
liquidated
Oh,
them
okay.
Yeah.
time ago.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
no longer.
Yeah. Well,
And it
hopefully.
sucks, man. We've been trying
Yeah.
to look at our local companies trying to strive, right? And you can't blame the audience because most people come to you and say, "You're supposed to support Zambia." It's like, but
Yeah.
we were talking about the dynamics here. This
Yeah.
seems to be
Yeah.
a benefit for that, right? So
Yeah.
instead of putting the blame on the consumers, put the blame on the actual people who are supposed to direct the consumers to follow them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What decisions were
Yes.
made?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because as we're just going where we see safety, comfortability, and also.
I hate to say this, but when it comes to Zambians, price is a very huge factor. So we're really price sensitive on things.
Yeah.
You might listen to this podcast and be thinking I'm offending you, but think about it. Sit down and think about it.
Yeah.
When you want to spend on something, don't you actually analyze the price of something? So as Zambians are sort of sensitive to price of
but
things.
Price is just a step in the bigger picture. So if you can't see the bigger picture, then you chase customers on the first purchase.
Yeah.
Chase customers on the first purchase.
This has been interesting. I think we need to we really need another episode on this, but hopefully at some point I hope we'll get to have the co-founder, the founder of that company that went into liquidation. Yep. I really hope we get to that.
Who knows what company that is? We don't know.
But
we don't know what company it is.
We don't know. And also I've heard a lot of stuff from people, but I feel like it would really be good to hear from the CEO, the former CEO himself. Yeah, maybe he could tell us the truth and like all the speculations that have been.
Because saying things that are
exactly
not on the picture. So apologies if we're just blabbing around, but we just want to get the actual thing that happens so that we can learn from it.
Yes, we really need lessons because man, that one early mover advantage. Something that people don't that people rarely talk about in this startup ecosystem. You know, where we are right now in Zambia, and this is something that I will encourage each and every person that is listening. Copy that idea that you've seen in the West. Try to see how you can duplicate and make it work here in Zambia. Like, try to do that. Yeah, you observe there's this idea in the West, copy it, duplicate, see how it can work in Zambia. That's how it should go. Of course, lean startup principles should apply so that you validate the market, you see if there are potential users for whatever that is. So I would actually encourage that. At the moment where we are, we have to copy what is already out there, bring it here, try to implement, and see. Creative. Yeah, you have to be creative of course. So try to do that. Yeah, but the people that actually get to make things work, they definitely make bank. So I feel like with you guys, I feel like we can talk for 24 hours straight.
I was about to mention we can keep going. But it's your call at this point.
No, I think we'll have another conversation sometime. Yeah, but for now, I think we can end here. Any last words from the two of you?
For those that are going to listen, appreciate your time. Appreciate your commitment to it and your bundles, because you're gonna stream this on Spotify or whatever the platform that we put it onto. If you do have anything that you have to get to us, you can try to get in touch with Parity. I think he's gonna put his contact details down below. I don't really have much to say, but we'll try to get as much content out based off the experience and the exposure that we've had. So I appreciate the time if you spent so much time to listen up to this point in this episode. So if you don't have anything, I think Priority will do something about it. Maybe Mundia, let's go something.
Mundia.
All I'm going to say is don't forget to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Well done.
We're going to have more of these podcasts. If you feel like you haven't gotten enough information, trust me, we are going to record a whole lot more of these podcasts. We are co-hosts on this item. So we're going to have a whole lot more information, more educational stuff. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe on this thing. To get latest up-to-date updates of our latest podcasts and whatnot. Otherwise, wish you the best on all your endeavors. You can always hit up Parity. His details are available on the inbox.
Yeah.
If you feel like you need to text one of us, either Chomba and I, don't forget. Don't worry. You can reach out and whatnot. Otherwise, take care. Have a great time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mundia. Thank you so much, Chomba, as well.
Was behaving,
Yeah, so
was behaving.
yeah, what we've started here is a revolution. We are not going to stop. You have so much content coming from us. We are going to ensure that you get to know about the trailblazers in this industry here in Zambia, and you get to know what they have been doing, how they have been doing it. All in all, we want you to succeed. Yeah, we really want you to succeed. Yeah, and instead of you guys just watching, seeing how the tech ecosystem is improving, we want you to take part in it. So please, yeah, until next time.
Peace. It's been good.